Good morning. Everybody's still kind of asleep. Good morning. Oh, welcome to all of you. And I particularly want to welcome a few people. First of all, Secretary of Education and Workforce Development, Derek Ramsey. Thank you so much for being here today. I know this is a huge, important issue for you. I also would like to recognize Sheriff Kathy Witt, who's with us. Good morning. Commissioner Chris Ford. These folks are involved with this issue every day. I'd also like to recognize Councilmember Richard Maloney, Councilmember Josh McKern, Councilmember Jennifer Reynolds, Councilmember Amanda Mays Bledsoe. I see Councilmember Susan Lamb. Who have I missed? Thank you all for being here. And I so appreciate all of our partners out here. If you go through the audience and ask, who are you with? Everybody in here is with an agency or someone who's working hard on this opioid issue. Thank you for being here. You are doing the boots on the ground work, and we appreciate it. One of my first initiatives, even before I was sworn in as mayor, was the initiative we're talking about today, the opioid epidemic. As we all know, this opioid addiction is affecting all demographics in our community. It's detrimental to our labor force, it diverts funding from much needed initiatives, and most important, it is literally a matter of life and death. It is taking folks who are in the prime of their lives away from us. I have devoted a staff member full-time to find an effective way to help Lexington and Fayette County citizens escape opioid addiction. Andrea James, who's here today, has met with many, many groups all over town and outside of Fayette County to study the challenges our community faces and the resources we have in place already to address them. By the end of this year, we will stand up a multidisciplinary work group to help guide a sustainable approach to slowing down this substance use disorder in Lexington. Lexington is coming together to slow down this epidemic. As we move into September and National Recovery Month, we find that our community is united in its determination to find answers to this crisis. We kind of blew the conversation open into the public back in January when we showed Beautiful Boy, and that was the first thing that needed to happen so that people could feel comfortable talking about this. We are going to hear first today from Andrea James and then from representatives of 3 groups that have special programs planned for National Recovery Month: Scott Llewellyn, Liz Sheehan, and Jim Bush. Thank you to each and every one of you for being here today. Now, first let's hear from Andrea.
Thank you all for being here. First off, I want to give a huge shout out to the mayor. This dynamic room of people are here today as a result of her vision. She's setting an example for mayors and city leaders across our state of how an administrative office in a city hall can make an impact on a very important issue. Can you join me in giving Mayor Gordon a round of applause? Next, I want to do a quick roll call because part of my work has been gathering together multiple disciplines related and maybe not so related to this issue and making those connections. So quick roll call with a show of hands. Who here is from a treatment and recovery facility? Raise your hand. Who here is from any level of government agency, local, state, or federal, legislative or judicial? Workforce development. We got some work to do on that one. Peer support. Got some peer support specialists. I see you, Skylar. The arts community, which is a new one. There we go. Love those hands going up. Healthcare and wellness facilities, or those working in wellness and healthcare. The faith community. Anyone here from the faith community? I know some people from this on the stage. The Mock Inc. are here as well. And other community nonprofits or organizations that don't fit those categories. I see some hands. And anybody else that I missed, raise your hand. I'm going to find you after this event and figure out who you're with. Again, thank you all for being here. I want to refer you to a brochure, which you may have in hand. If not, it's on the back resource table, along with some other resources. This is our Recovery Awareness Month brochure. It features events happening across the city, and be sure to pick one up today. These resources, these events will also be listed on recoverymonth.gov, so that's the national site. We've submitted all of the events and waiting for approval for them to be published, but you can also find these events and events that other people may be doing across the city on recoverymonth.gov. The events that you see listed include some special events happening as part of Recovery Awareness Month, but they also include some ongoing and recurring events, such as recovery-oriented events happening at Voices of Hope. Is there anyone here from Voices of Hope today? They have a lot of different events happening on a regular basis, and you'll see at least one listed on the brochure. And also harm reduction programs at the health department. And we've got a couple of people from the health department. Raise your hand. We've got Kevin and John Moses here from the health department, and their syringe exchange program is listed there, and they have other resources as well. All of these activities, as I mentioned, are available on the recoverymonth.gov. If you have an event that that's not listed on the brochure, be sure to contact me. I'll get that event added on that website. And it's not too late to add an event. So if you're here today and you've got an idea of something you want to do, be sure to let me know, and we'll get that added. Now for our speakers. First off, I'll introduce Scott Llewellyn. Scott works in our Department of Social Services as our Overdose Prevention Coordinator, a grant-funded position, under the leadership of the fabulous Amy Baker and Commissioner Chris Ford. Scott, can you come forward and share about the unique program that you're presenting as part of Recovery Awareness Month?
Hello. Hey, thanks. Scott Llewellyn, I'm the Overdose Prevention Coordinator for Department of Social Services. So last year, under the guidance of Commissioner Ford and Amy, they put together a 4-year SAMHSA grant that allocated $2 million to provide over $1 million worth of Narcan naloxone to the community, which we work in partnership with the Fayette County Health Department to distribute to at-risk communities and organizations. That's what we've been doing for the last 5 months. Also, there's we do outreach in the community, and also there's a Good Samaritan campaign that we've initiated in the last month to encourage people to call 911 in the event of an overdose. What I'm here today to talk about is next Thursday at the Public Library at the Ferris Theater at 5 o'clock. We are partnering again with the Fayette County Health Department to give a community Narcan naloxone training that's open to the public, and we will have 75 kits available to the public free of charge. Also, following the initial training, we're going to have a recovery discussion panel featuring people in long-term recovery that have engaged in various paths of recovery. What this will look like is, again, a cross-section of people in your traditional 12-step, SMART recovery. We have Buddhist recovery, faith-based recovery, We have a person that's going to be on medically assisted treatment that's recovering with Suboxone and Vivitrol. And also we will have a speaker who has been revived with Narcan and who is now in long-term recovery. We want the public and the media and the press to see the other side of this crisis and to see the very effective and different paths of recovery. So we again encourage everybody to be down there and spread the word, and hope you can join us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That event in your brochure is on September the 5th, and again, arrive early so that you can sign up for Narcan, the free Narcan kit. Next, I want to introduce Liz Sheehan. Liz reached out to me on behalf of League of Women Voters to say that they wanted to host an event on behalf of the Mayor's Initiative. I think Liz had attended the Mayor's Neighborhood Summit and was part of that conversation. I couldn't have been more delighted. It's a blessing to have, it's an honor to have organizations throughout community who aren't typically at the table about this, willing to open up their doors and have conversations with their folks about this illness that impacts the entire city. No one is immune from this. So as well as a conversation, the League of Women Voters is really wanting to do some next steps, and that's what we are encouraging organizations to do, is figure out how we can each take next steps to help with this issue. So I'll let Liz share about the event on September 15th.
Hello, everyone. Like Andrea said, I'm Liz Sheehan, and I'm here on behalf of the League of Women Voters. The League has a legacy of empowering citizens by building community through registering new voters, hosting candidate forums, and educating the public on issues of importance. In alignment with this month's theme, Join the Voices for Recovery, Together We Are Stronger, the League is hosting an event to determine what we can do as an organization to support our community becoming more recovery-friendly. We feel called to act in the tradition of fostering community conversations and engaging neighbors with one another. Therefore, I'd like to invite our community to come together on Sunday, September 5th from 2:30 to 3:30 at the Beaumont Library, where we will gather in the large meeting room for an event called Let's Talk About Opioids, led by Andrea James, Special Projects Coordinator from the Mayor's Office. She will share updates of her work and will then lead attendees in small group discussions to share ideas of how our community and the League of Women Voters might move these efforts forward. We hope to see stakeholders from the entire community represented, those experiencing addiction and recovery, those with friends or family members living with addiction, other community members, and our leaders. The opioid epidemic affects us all, and the solutions will require all of us working together. I'd also like to take this moment to thank Mayor Gordon for recognizing Recovery Awareness Month. Thank you for lending your voice and leadership on these issues. We hope to see you all at the Beaumont Library September 15th at 2:30. We want every voice to be heard, so please come and be a part of the conversation.
Thank you to Liz and the leadership there at League of Women Voters. We appreciate that. You can't lately attend any meeting about substance use disorder or mental illness this side of the Mississippi without seeing a resource table or name tag with the logo of New Vista. It made perfect sense to have them part of this Recovery Awareness Month event. So last but not least, we'll hear from Jim Bush, Executive Director at New Vista, about their offering for the month of September. Jim?
Hello. First of all, thank you to the mayor for this committed effort on the opioid crisis that we're facing. On behalf of New Vista, we're thrilled to provide a comprehensive set of services, but primarily we have been the medication-assisted treatment or medication-assisted recovery program the longest in the state since 1975, and we are going to do a webinar on September 16th at noon to talk about what is a medication-assisted recovery, who qualifies, and most of all, we really want to talk about the hope that we provide for people that are struggling with opioid addiction and really trying to see that there are opportunities to work through these challenges and to have long-term successful recovery. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you so much. You know, as you can already see, part of this effort has been finding out what is already going on, bringing people together, and making a concerted effort to do this. And so I want to thank those of you who spoke and for your long-term dedication to your programs. And look, we're all in it together now. So before I close, I want to recognize our Commissioner of Public Safety, who's somewhere way in the back, Ken Armstrong. As we know, thank you, Ken, for being here. As we all know, our public safety folks have been working at this issue for a long time. And so now we have lots of partners for our dedicated public safety folks. So thank you all for coming. I'm really excited about this partnership within our community, and one of the things that it is leading to is going out into the counties that surround Fayette County to bring other partners in so that we can have an even more concerted effort. So thank you for being here. This is our first step toward recovery as a community. And again, I especially want to thank Secretary Ramsey for making time out of his very busy schedule to be here. Thank you all for coming.